All right. Well, that was quick. And lucky me, the Chiefs still haven't picked yet. So we are back. And I'm going to have this going while I set some stuff up a little bit, and we'll catch up on the picks. But it looks as though the Saints are on the clock. And let me post on Twitter too so that we can. All right. Get this all nice and vibrant and red and all right. Yes, we are back. Quicker than I thought, but 25 minutes. Actually, no, it's about what I had selected. Wow. Alante Taylor goes in the second round. Whoo. Wow. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna wait to make the pick for everybody else on the boards, and then I'm going to update the board with everybody after the Chiefs pick and after we talk about it. So let me just tell everybody that we back. All right. That's it was close. It was close. All right. All right, we're good. Good Lord, my dog does not want to shut up. All right. Yes, this is technically a new video. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit the sub, hit the bell notification, get all that stuff. She barks at anything, I swear. So I apologize. You guys can hear her. Unfortunately, I did see that my boys, John Mechie and David Ajabo, have been selected. So I think that puts the Chiefs in an interesting position to take George Pickens, a Skye Moore, maybe a Nakobe Dean if they feel like that, a Brisker, Cam Thomas. Maybe they go defensive tackle. A dog is a dog. You're not wrong. Barks at everything. But maybe Perrion Winfrey, DeMarvin Leal are options that the Chiefs are looking at. We'll see. Interesting. But I do think it's between. Honestly, it could be defensive end, wide receiver, linebacker. It could possibly be safety. But I still think that maybe they have to wait a little bit on corner. What about? Oh yeah, Brisker's gone. Never mind. Brisker's gone. Oh. Yeah, Brisker's gone. All right. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for this pick. Maybe they go surprise everybody. All right. I want everyone to tell me who you think the pick is going to be right now and go before they put it in. Let's go ahead and share the screens. Excuse me. Pickens, lots of Pickens, Skye, Winfrey, Travis Jones, Mechie's gone. I don't think they have to trade up for Pickens. The Chiefs are on the clock right now. The surprise, by the way, the surprise pick would be tackle. The surprise pick would be tackle. I think they also might be answering some calls to maybe trade back. I definitely think that's possible. Especially if you got people that want Nakobe Dean, Chad Muma, some of these other players. I think that definitely could be looking to trade back. Exactly. That's what I meant. Offensive tackle would be a surprise pick. Yeah, there's a couple of good tackles on the board. Bernard Raymond, the last one, actually. And the Chiefs traded their pick to New England. They traded up. So probably from 54. Chiefs trade up from the Patriots trade up from 54, maybe. If they traded at 54, I'm okay with that. I don't know why everyone's so mad. I don't know why people are mad. It makes perfect sense. This is exactly what Brett Veach talked about. He talked about trying to get back and trade back and pick up some extra draft capital in these areas. So we'll see. Maybe they got a third. If they got one of the thirds back or a fourth, I think they'd be pretty happy about that. So we'll see. I will have to wait and see on the trade details, but they don't have plenty of draft capital where it counts for this team on day 2. I just need to see the details. They got a third back. There it is. And they got a third. That's exactly the kind of move Brett wants to make. I was lucky. I'm not going to lie, guys. I was lucky that I got back in before, but the Chiefs, trade back to 54 and pick up a third. I think that's a win. I think that's a win. Legit. Like if they get back to 54 and pick up a third, we're going to wait and see on the trade details. I'll be real happy about that. Will not lie. Who are they going to pick? Who are they going up to get? So, think they're going to go get Nakobe Dean? Oh, they went to get Tyquan Thornton. Oh my goodness, they picked Tyquan Thornton. They picked Thornton. Okay, so they got 54 and then picked up a fifth. It looks like. I don't know why people were saying it was a third, but it looks like it's a fifth. But that's fine. Let the Patriots move up to get Tyquan Thornton. It's still a good move. You drop 3 spots and pick a fifth up. They don't have a 5th round pick, so man, what is he doing? Yeah, I jumped the gun. My bad, guys. I thought that someone had said that it was a third, so that's my fault. But still, because maybe Brett Veach wants to move up somewhere else in the third or in the second in at 62 to get somebody. If you have a fifth, that helps you move up. The Patriots just moved up to with a 5th round pick, so you can use the 5th round pick to move up if you want to get somebody. It's not. It's still a good move. They went and got Tyquan Thornton, so I think it'll work out just fine. Wow. Bill, Bill, Bill. Bill, Bill, Bill. Just overdrafting receivers. Okay, so we have a couple minutes here. We'll go ahead and update the board, yeah? So I know that Mechie's gone. Whoops. I know David Ajabo is gone. I know that, yeah, that's it. We have Fedire and Mathis is gone, which is a weird pick. Weird pick. I got a 4th round grade on Mathis, so I'm not sure what Washington was doing there. Weird. Josh Pascal is gone. It's not surprised. That move does not surprise me in the slightest that the Lions got him. Not in the slightest. So boom. Philadelphia selected Cam Jurgens. I don't even know if he's on my board. Brisker's gone. So we got Alante Taylor is off the board. Tyquan Thornton is off the board, who I have a 4th round grade on. Yeah, I have a mid-4th on Tyquan Thornton. Whoops. And then Cam Jurgens. Maybe he's not on my board. We'll see. All right. I don't actually have him on my board, so we'll go ahead and just slot him where Bill Belichick took him. Or I mean where the Eagles took him. Out of Nebraska. Okay. We are caught up. And now the Steelers are on the board. Okay. Now I will run as fast as I can. Back to catch up. All right. So we'll move this back over here. All right. Okay. Thank you for the super chat, Chiefs Knicks fan. How you doing, man? Nice to see you in here. I like the trades and I also like the picks from yesterday. Yeah, I'm coming around on Karlaftis. I'll tell you that right now. I'm coming around on the idea, becoming more susceptible, and trying to think more along the lines of what the Chiefs are going to do with him in terms of outside, inside versatility. I think that makes some sense. So yeah, I'm coming around on it. So, and I love Trent McDuffie. So yeah, thank you, Chiefs Knicks fan. Appreciate you. Then how about this double dip? Pickens at 54, and Moore at 62. So there's clearly a consensus in the NFL that George Pickens, one, is either not fully healthy, two, not what everybody thought he was, which I did kind of allude to. Also, Pickens at Georgia, they don't ask you to do anything. And there goes, as we live and breathe, George Pickens goes off the board. That's funny. And George Pickens to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's never mind. There it goes. So the Steelers were the team to take the chance on George Pickens. I know everyone likes George Pickens, but and in the second round, I get it. I'm not too mad about it. I think that George Pickens can be fine, but don't really know what he will be in the NFL. So we'll see. And yes, I totally am coming around a little bit. Doesn't mean I don't like the pick about Karlaftis. I don't like the pick of Karlaftis, but I'm coming around on the idea of what they could use him to be. So they traded 50 for a 5th round pick to move back 4 spots, which I'm totally okay with. I think Kansas City's pretty comfortable not taking a receiver. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think that they necessarily need to, and they clearly don't think that they need to. So George Pickens was also 2nd round pick on Brian's board, and now the Indianapolis Colts are on the clock. Make sure, please, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that like, the bell, and the sub notification. That helps everybody out. It helps you out, helps us out. We want to get this channel to all the Chiefs fans possible, trying to grow. Also, make sure you check out the NFL33.com Substack Ryan and I just started. We are going to be expanding our content creation, not just the Chiefs, but the NFL and everything in between. Make sure you check that out and hit that subscribe on that if you could. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit question marks before your questions so that I can pick them out of the chat. I don't have a moderator in here tonight. It's just me. So trying to do everything we can. Also, I am using the PFF Live Draft Tracker because it seems to update picks extremely quickly. So If you guys are coming in and hearing things that you haven't seen yet, it's because I'm probably a little bit ahead of the TV. I like to watch it on the TV too, but for some reason this is just way easier to do, and we can kind of talk into it in live, as it happens, really as it happens, and not just as the TV. All right, so if you guys are confused about the trade, the Chiefs moved from 50 back to 54 with the Patriots and got back 158, a fifth round pick. Now, as you can see, the Patriots used that to move up to get somebody that they wanted in Tyquan Thorson. So the Chiefs might be looking to move up in the third, in even at 62, to get somebody that they are looking at. So definitely I think that they're looking to use that or to hit some players on day 3 that they like. So yeah, Petrie's gone. Travis Jones has not been picked yet. And there goes Alec Pierce to the Colts. Whew. Pretty Coltsy move right there. I had a third round grade on Alec Pierce. And now the Chiefs are on the board, so this is interesting. I think that the Chiefs are going to be going pretty defense heavy. This could be a defensive tackle selection. This could be Cam Thomas. This could be probably those two positions, maybe tackle, maybe linebacker. It depends. I don't know. Yeah, sorry. I know that this is going to be ahead of what everyone else is doing. So everyone hit that like button. We got 500 people in here. Let's hit that like. Only 100 likes on the video. Come on, we got it. We can do this. It takes 2 seconds. But Alec Pierce, a guy who tested really, really well, but the tests don't show up on on film, in my opinion. So I'm interested to see what he does there. But that's kind of a Michael Pittman player. Like Alec Pierce is a little bit more athletic, but they both have ball skills down the field, and like that's what they do well. And maybe some intermediate routes here and there. So the Colts are looking like they want to run the ball and throw deep shots off play action. That seems to be what they're trying to do with Jonathan Taylor. So that's what I'm looking for. All right, and let's see where Ryan had Alec Pierce. He had him as a third round grade as well, a bit higher than I did, but here we are. The Chiefs are now on the clock. And we are just kind of waiting in anticipation now that the Chiefs are here. I would love Skye Moore here. I think this would be a great spot for him for Kansas City. But I do think that defense is probably where they might be going. Defensive tackle, defensive end, linebacker even. And Nakobe Dean's making that fall, but I don't know if they want a tweener. I definitely know that Spags doesn't want a tweener. So Nakobe Dean's probably not the guy. Probably more of a Chad Muma type player if they're going linebacker. It doesn't matter what. Hey, my whiskey's right here. It's right here. Once again, I'm using the PFF live tracker, so when it comes up, I'm going to tell everybody what the pick is. It's Skye Moore. It is Skye Moore. There is the pick. I'm not surprised by that in the slightest. Oh, that's the wrong color. Skye Moore is now a Kansas City Chief. They clearly felt that he was going to fall down to 54. I'm pretty happy with the pick, honestly. I think that that's not chasing the Tyreek Hill because he's a different kind of player, but he fits in this scheme very well, can get open everywhere, probably is going to be able to get downfield a little bit too. I don't think this has been the same way that it did in the testing, but I'm very happy with the ability for Skye Moore to get open very, very much. definitely get him the ball and do some good things with him. And Skye Moore was a late second for Ryan as well, right around here. So both had a second round grade on him. And the Chiefs are up again in what is it, 10 picks now? So yeah, they still have oh no, less. They got 8 picks left. So yeah, they condensed themselves, picked up a 5th round pick, and then maybe they can move up from 62 with that 5th that they got and get someone that they like. So the Chiefs, the Chiefs have a ton of size on their team. They have a ton of size. They have 3 guys over 6 foot now. Actually, 4 guys over 6 foot if you count the tight ends too. They also need to have some guys that create separation underneath. Juju can do that kind of, but you also want the Skye Moore type of player that's different from McCole in the sense that McCole's really a gadget type of player at this point. Probably gonna play the Z, but Skye's a guy you can get and use him in multiple different ways on the outside, on the inside. He can create separation everywhere. So I think that's an absolute steal of a pick, and a guy that was getting hyped in the 1st round, not just to Kansas City, but to other places too. You trade back and you still land him. You pick up a little bit of draft capital. So I'm pretty okay with that. And now we have the Cardinals picked right after the Chiefs, and it's Trey McBride. Trey McBride is an Arizona Cardinal. I'm just going to update it, and then we'll talk about more about Skye. So how does everyone feel? How does everybody feel? I know that it's going to be yes or no based on how you feel about offense or defense, but I get what did they get for trading back? If you guys didn't see that, they traded back from 50 to 54, and they picked up a 5th-round pick. The Chiefs didn't want Pickens. They must not have felt comfortable about his ability to stay healthy or his attitude problems. So I think you guys feel a little bit different when we see him on the field, much like I might feel different when we see Carlos on the field. We don't know. We'll find out. Now I got the Cowboys up on the clock. I think it's also a good value, and that's what the Chiefs have been looking to do is really hit on their picks with value. And Skye Moore is a valuable player, and I think that he's going to bring some really good value to the team, some speed, some separation creation. That's the name of the game, creating separation. So I'm excited. I think that he's going to bring a good balance to the offense. You have some speed, you have some size now on the offense. You bring in a smaller guy who can get open underneath, who's tough after the catch and doesn't go down easy, can do some things. So I like it myself. I know everyone doesn't like it, but all right. Thank you, Derek. What a steal. Dan Beach is the best GM scout we could have ever dreamed of. I think it's a good pick. We don't know which receiver Pickens or Moore is going to end up being better. We have no clue. We just kind of we can assume some things. We have to project George Pickens based off of his rookie or excuse me his freshman and sophomore film. It's hard to do all of that. So Moore is a guy who got better and better as the season went along and his career went along. He's also tested extremely well, so I think that they value his athleticism too. So I'm pretty okay with it. Thank you, the greatest, for the super chat. Skye Moore is a better route runner and ran a 4.39. Yeah, I think the 4.39 is a little deceiving, if I'm being honest. I think that the speed doesn't show up in the same way as it does in his testing, but he's an excellent route runner. He can get open at every level of the field. He knows how to play corners, like he knows how to play them. So I do think he's one of the best route runners in this class. Thank you, Chiefs Knicks fan. I thought they needed defense over offense. I don't disagree, but I think that they looked at the board. The players that they value were gone. I think that they probably would have taken a look at a Boye Mafe, at an Arnold Ebiketie, at a David Ajabo, probably at some of their corners. If a McCreary had fallen, if a Gordon had fallen, maybe get both of them, both of the guys. Maybe if a Booth had fallen, they clearly felt that the value in this specific pick was Skye Moore. I tend to agree with him. The way that linebacker is falling, like they're probably going to be able to get a linebacker at 62 and maybe even more in the third round. So I don't disagree with you, but I think the value of their pick is much better with Skye Moore than it would have been somewhere else. Thank you for the question, Soka. Yes, he can play on the outside. I think that he's going to be able to. You guys remember Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss last year? He's that type of player. I don't think he's as juiced up with the twitch myself as Elijah Moore is, but he's that kind of player. He can win on the outside. He's going to give you ways to just get him the ball in the short intermediate. He's going to create separation, and you can take advantage of that in this offense a lot. So yes, I think he can play everywhere. All right. Thank you, Quinn. I say we get a pass rush defensive tackle. I think that's on their list. I think that is on their list for sure. It's coming. Moore ran at his 40. He ran a 4.39. That was what he tested at. But I think that he's more about a 4.43 on film from what I saw. So still very fast, still very fast. But right now I'm really happy about two of the picks the Chiefs have. I'm still not super thrilled with George Karlaftis, but again, he is the Spags defensive end. Like we all knew this coming into the draft. So definitely exactly. Like here's his stats from last year: 95 receptions. He's the guy who can get volume. You can throw him the football a ton. Like, you're just gonna keep producing. Thank you for that, Terry. I just looked up. Thank you, Harlan. Just looked up Skye Moore highlights, and I must say, him and Patrick are going to be a great together. They're going to find. They're going to have fun. They're going to be able to get some things done. I'll tell you that right now. That's just because Antonio Brown played at Western Michigan, I think, or like Central Michigan, one of those smaller schools coming out. So they always look to project players to the absolute best of their abilities. Not really where I'm at, but I think that he's a very good player. Is going to be maximized in this offense. All right, pretty happy with the picks so far. Totality of this draft, I'm pretty happy with. The Chiefs currently don't have a number one wide receiver, Terry. They have Travis Kelsey is their number one wide receiver, and then it's everybody else. They're going to be competing for spots. So no, there is, and he's only on a 1 year deal. If you want to go by deals, it would be MVS as their number one receiver, and then it would go probably McCole, and then Juju, and then Skye Moore, or whoever they end up being there. So yeah. Thank you, Napoleon and Rags. The Chiefs still need a third safety who looks good to you. So they did bring in a guy who can play third safety, but I think that they're going to be looking more toward um, the end of the draft, maybe take some corners. They might even play Boodle as a third safety next year. So they have in-house options as well. They also have Rashad Fenton, who they like. I think they might double dip at corner in this draft and still play Rashad Fenton in that third safety role like they did 2 years ago. Zion McCollum's an option at corner that they can do. Tariq Woolen is still there. Kobe Bryant, Cam Taylor Britt, all these guys are corners they can look to grab and then find ways to get that in. All right. All right. So Harlan, I'm going to be honest. If we take Dean here at 62 and then get Kobe Bryant with our third, the draft would be huge success. They're not taking N'Kobe Dean. Um, we know the defense that Spags wants. Spags wants big, fast, big, strong players. even up front at linebacker. Willie Gay is one of those exceptions because he's a freak. Nakobe Dean's small, fast. That's probably what you're looking at him and not being there. But the Cowboys just picked Sam Williams, upside type player. I had him as a third round grade, but there's tools. Like Sam Williams has tools. Very, I know that this like gets talked about a lot, but he's a very toolsy guy. Lots of different aspects to his game. He's a little speedy too. Has a lot of different moves that he can use raw in most of his pass rush skills still, but run defense is spotty at best at times. So he's got some things to work on, but betting on upside with a guy who's had some troubled stuffs. All right, so we have Ryan has Sam Williams as a third round grade 2, just on the back half of that third round. All right, so the Buccaneers just traded up? I think. Thank you, Galactic, for the super chat. Dan, how is your precious daughter? She was good. She was with me for the first hour of the stream, and then I had to log off, go put her down for her bedtime, and that's where she is right now. She is in bed, probably reading, and I say reading, but she's like, she has a book and she's like combing through it, not actually reading it yet, but she's just in her bed playing around. That's what she does for about an hour, hour and a half every night before she goes to sleep. Thanks for asking, and thank you for the super chat. Thank you, Amo, and Dan, thanks for sharing with us today, especially on a Friday night. I'm a stay-at-home dad, and my wife is on TDY, so I literally have nothing to do on a Friday night anyway. But wow, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but here talking to the draft with you guys. This is like, not only is it my job, it's what I love to do. If you guys at least get one thing out of me, it's that you can tell by how I talk about football. I'm extremely passionate about it, and sometimes that can get the better of me. Like last night, it got the better of me a little bit. It can do that, but this is what I will want to do. It's what I've always wanted to do, and I have the platform to do it. So thank you all for being here. Almost 600 people in here tonight, and I appreciate every single one of you. There's my guy. There's my guy. The Buccaneers traded up to get my guy Luke Gadecki out of Central Michigan. I had him ranked over so many people. Let's just look, because I love it. Where am I? Where is he? I have him as a offensive guard. He played right tackle at Central Michigan with Bernard Raymond. I think he's a better right tackle than Raymond, but I did have a second round grade on Gadecki. That's how much I like him. Love me some Luke Gadecki. Thank you for the super chat, Whiskey Bravo. Could KC Spags be headed to a 3-4 defense? No, not a chance. That's just not what they want to do. Thank you for the super chat, though. There's going to be lots about how about Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean's not going to be drafted by Kansas City. He's a tweener. He doesn't have the body that Spags wants at linebacker. I know that Nick Bolton has a smaller build like that too, but he's a freight train downhill. He is a thumper. He gets in there and mixes it up in the run game. Nakobe Dean doesn't really do that, and I feel like they want bigger athletes at linebacker. If they go that way, and they didn't go that way with defensive end, I'm going to have some issues. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm going to have some issues. The Chiefs, the next pick the Chiefs have is, what is it, 103? Yeah, 103. So we got a long ways to go after 62, unless the Chiefs trade up, which I'd probably be happy with. Oof. Thank you, a butt kicker burner. Your wife is on a TDY. Is she military? Yes, my wife is an active duty member of the U.S. Air Force. Thank you for the super chat. Jesus Perez or Jesus Perez. Maybe I call you Jesus. Can I call you Jesus? Is that okay? We're on a first name basis with Jesus. Thank you for the super chat. You got a question? Go ahead and ask it so I can find it. And thank you for the super chat, Corey. Can you see us drafting D'Angelo Malone? I don't know who that is. I am sorry, Corey. I don't know who that is. I feel bad. Thank you for the super chat. If you want to comment in here who he is, what position he plays at, maybe I can find him real quick. Thank you guys for that. I appreciate you. Awesome, butt kicker. I was active in a long time ago now. About 8 years ago, I was active, and they didn't discharge me. They kicked me out, and kicked me out. Medically retired me because of my Crohn's. So, all right. And there's another pick. Where is it? Pull out just a little bit here. I know there's a lot of Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas is currently falling. I wouldn't be upset with it, but you also are taking two closely resembled guys, in my opinion, in Karlaftis and Cam Thomas. And I get that that's what Spags wants at defensive end. I just want to see a little bit of a difference. That's all. A little difference. All right. Thank you guys so much. So the Falcons just selected Troy Anderson out of Montana State, linebacker. I had a fourth round grade on Troy Alexander because the dude doesn't know how to play the position he's state, and he's super athletic though. So you're going to see a lot of people looking up to get him, and the Falcons figured that he'd be good enough for it to go all the way in the second round. A bit of a reach, but you're going to see people. Sorry, guys. I've been having some real issues with the internet. It did it earlier too. Luckily, it didn't screw up. I think we're back. Hopefully. Everybody, can you hear me? Okay. Good lord, man. I only have one option for internet in this godforsaken town of or area of Whiteman Air Force Base. One type of internet. So I'm upset. I'm very sorry if you guys had super chats in that point that I was unable to read because it kicked me out. I can't even go back to them. Um, I'm very, very sorry about that. So dumb. All right. Thank you for the super chat, Javance. Kevin in the chat asked, what position do we need most? Most right now is still corner. It's still corner. They desperately need corners. um, defensive tackle is really high up there. Defensive end still up there. So I think that that's where we are. Those are still the positions. Thank you for the super chat, Javance. You guys, I only have one. There's only one internet. There's only one area. There's only one thing I can get. I can only get, what is it? Spectrum. That's all I got. That's all I can get. I only have Spectrum, and my internet sucks now. I'm just gonna let you guys know, if you think that Skye Moore and McCole Hardman are the same player, might want to go watch the film. All right, so I missed a pick too. So we got Ed Ingram, interior offensive lineman for the LSU Tigers, going to the Minnesota Vikings. I like Ed Ingram a lot. I do have a very firm second round pick on a grade on him. Very high on him coming out. So Minnesota getting better along the offensive line. Big fan. All right. So I hope Cornell Powell plays this year. I see the question. I'm always going to talk about Cornell Powell whenever I get a chance. I will always do it because he's my guy. And sometimes I let my guys blind me a little bit. And he may have done the same thing. Ryan actually had a 4th round grade on Ed Ingram. Interestingly enough, I was right though. The Chiefs still have a 4th. They don't have 2 4ths anymore. What cornerbacks are available? Well, let's look at the board, shall we? Whoop. Right now, as it stands, these are the corners. Martin Emerson out of Mississippi State. Tariq Woolen, UTSA, the guy that blew up the combine with that 40. Kobe Bryant out of Cincinnati. Cam Taylor Britt out of Nebraska. Zion McCollum. Mario Goodrich. Josh Jobe. Marcus Jones. These are the guys right here. Looks like the Bengals just traded up into 60. Thank you for the question. Space Doom, I think that's right. I would still take corner. Maybe that's not a popular answer, but they need corners. All y'all be, I see something about Skylar Thompson. No. No thanks. And they're one of the cornerbacks goes. I take this off and we start talking about corners. And Cam Taylor Britt is now a Cincinnati Bengal. I like him. I have a 3rd on him, actually. So I thought that was a big drop off after Kyrie Elam, from Kyrie Elam to everybody down here in that second tier, you can kind of see it breaks up. So Taylor Britt from Nebraska goes to the Cincinnati Bengals. Makes sense actually with their Daxton Hill to pair with Jesse Bates. It looks like they're going to have a um, two deep safeties and two safeties they can really trust on the back end. Maybe to even play slot with Daxton Hill, but you now have Taylor Britt's going to come in to help facilitate your corners, and you can really feed them into those safeties. So it does look like they're going to be trying to do that in Cincinnati. I like the pick quite a bit. Let's see where Ryan had him for a corner. So we have Taylor Britt as a 3rd round grade, just like I did. Right here is Taylor in that 3rd round pick area. So yeah, both Ryan and I had a 3rd on him. Oh, I know you're trolling. Upside of the top 3 corners left. So probably CB2s. So you took your cornerback 1, you have L'Jarius Sneed, and now we're talking about guys that can be a legit corner CB2, CB3 area. So they're in the sweet spot for that, in my opinion, and it would make sense to be getting another corner pretty soon in the next 2 to 3 picks. Everyone's asking about, I see Travis Jones a lot. Travis Jones is still on the board. Maybe next time, Jonathan. We had an idea, and then we just kind of like went with it. So it's more of just to keep track of everyone who's actually been picked, but I totally understand where you're coming from. So now I got the 49ers on the clock now. Oh, 670 people in here. Appreciate y'all being in here. Oh, that's a tough one. Right before the Chiefs pick, San Francisco 49ers select Drake Jackson, edge out of USC, a guy with a lot of upside, a lot of athletic ability, long arms. He's very, very raw, very, very raw. They're betting on those traits, being able to get in there. But I thought that Drake Jackson would be a pick at 62. So you have Sam Williams and Drake Jackson, 2 guys that have lots of tools that are a lot of high upside players have now gone in front of Kansas City. Kind of same with Arnold Ebiketie, in my opinion. But you still have Cam Thomas here on the board. Interesting where they might be going. I don't know. They might be going linebacker, but we're going to see in a little bit here what Kansas City ends up doing. Where did Ryan have Drake Jackson? Where did Ryan have Drake Jackson? He had him as in the 3rd. In the 3rd. How is Moore? I think Moore's going to step in and be a contributor. I think he's a NFL ready player, being able to compete at all 3 levels of the field, create separation at all 3 levels of the field, and really be a guy you can count on to catch the football. Very, very good hands, strong hands through contact, and a fighter after the catch. So I like him, and I think he's going to contribute pretty early to this offense. Thank you very much, Poison. I appreciate all of you being here, and we're just going to keep going, even though there's going to be a long time between now and the Chiefs pick again at 103. So we're going to have lots of space to fill. All right. So if you guys happen to miss it, I've seen it a couple different times. Again, the Chiefs went from 50 to 54 with the Patriots. They picked up a 5th round pick. They can use that as ammunition to move up multiple different places, maybe in the 3rd round too. So they picked up an extra pick that they can either use to move up or keep in the on day 3. All right. So where before the Chiefs do pick, where does everyone think that they're going? Let's just get it out there. Where does everyone think that they're going? All right, so we've got some Travis Jones, Chad Muma, lots of Travis Jones, Tolbert. I don't think they're going to go back to back wide receiver, but long snapper, I like it. I like it. See a no Kobe Dean. He's not going to get selected. If they do, I'll be super surprised. I'll be happy, but I'll be super shocked. All right, now y'all just. It's all good. People are just throwing names out there. It's all right. Surprise pick would be tackle or tight end here, I think, but definitely could still go defensive end. You could go linebacker with Muma. You can go. You might be able to get away with a corner here in Woolen or Emerson. Perry and Winfrey, DeMarvin Leal, also possible picks. If they take a running back, I might throw something. I like Kobe Bryant, but I like him in the third. So, but Kansas City is on the clock, so we're gonna find out here soon who they pick. I don't think they're going offense. I really don't. I think they did it already, so I think they're going to be defense. I just don't know who it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a safety, but again, you never know with this team. Pierce from Florida. Y'all are crazy. They're not taking a running back. If they do, I might throw something. They might be on the phone to trade back. That wouldn't surprise me either. I like how they put pick grades in here real quick. They gave the 49ers a elite pick grade for Jake Jackson. Of course they did. Yeah, shocker would be Joshua Williams. Really? Really? Brian Cook? Um, huh. Weird. So the pick is Brian Cook, safety out of Cincinnati. Interesting. Very interesting. Let's go ahead and pull up his sheet here. All right. So we've got a 6'1", 206-pound safety. I like that. Like, I'm trying to figure out how I feel about it. Smart player, best suited covering short intermediate routes, strong versus the run. So this looks to be their solution to the honey badger role, or the box safety role in Brian Cook, guy who can come down in, play against the run. And I'm not surprised they took a third round safety. They didn't needed a third safety, but interestingly enough, that they went this direction this early. Yeah, they're definitely not going to be. They're definitely not going to be bringing in the Badger back. He's not coming back. They brought Reed in. They just took another safety. This also might mean that the time for Juan Thornhill is coming up, but who knows? Well, hopefully not. See, we have a guy who can tackle. He's got pretty good awareness. Not the the long speed. So he's not going to be playing deep safety anytime soon. Looks like to be a direct Dan Sorensen replacement, a guy who can come down, maybe play as a dime backer and give you some ability in that area. So play as a third safety, and just kind of be a run enforcer. I mean, I'm not mad about it. I'm really not that mad about it. A 6'1", 206-pound safety, come in, play against the run. Definitely not terribly mad about it, but the value of the board maybe didn't really fall for where they thought. So all in all, I don't think it's a terrible pick. Um, More of the head scratching ones, I think, in terms of value in the third round. And then, yeah, interestingly enough, Bills on the clock right now. Right. I think I picked him in a lot of mocks too, but I did mock him in the third mostly, not in the second. So it's interestingly, and it's I think it's an interesting spot for him. So they clearly have a higher grade on him than most of us do, but we'll see how it ends up. I just thought here's my thought process. I think that they could have gone defensive tackle here instead of safety and gotten a safety that can do the same things later in the draft. So I would have gone defensive tackle here, but Nakobe Dean's falling because he's a tweener. Yeah, so this happens a lot. Brad, he probably ran a 4.34, but doesn't show up on tape. Like, you have to be able to click it and run when you got pads on. And just like with Skye Moore, I don't necessarily think that his speed shows up on tape, but he ran a 4.39. So I think that some guys just test better. Let's see where Ryan had him. He also had him in the third. So yeah, Ryan and I both had a third on Cook. Just how it ends up turning out. Thank you for the super chat, Ryan. Enjoy listening to you guys' thoughts on the draft for the Kingdom so far. I think that Cook was a little head scratcher for me, but all in all, I'm pretty happy with the way that they've addressed the team. They've gone secondary and defensive end, which are their two biggest needs. In my opinion, they clearly feel comfortable at linebacker. They're doing some things with defensive tackle probably later in the draft. And they didn't like the situation that they were in heading into defensive tackle, defensive end, linebacker right now. So they felt much better with the safety. But I mean, it's just a little more head scratching for me. I probably would have gone defensive tackle, like I said, but it is what it is. Oh, so I see I got different times now. So does anyone actually have Brian Cook's? Actually, I'll just look it up. Just look it up real quick. So nearly 32-inch arms. I don't have. Did he not test? It looks like he didn't test at the combine. Interesting. Okay, so he ran a 4.5. Makes sense. All right, so yeah. So we got two picks that have gone since I've done this. So let's put this back up here. So Bills took James Cook, running back out of Georgia. Where are you at, James? There you are. I have a fourth on him, I think. Yeah, a fourth on James Cook. So in my opinion, it's a bit of a reach, but they need speed. Makes sense. Yeah, Brugler's got James or has Brian Cook as a third rounder. Yeah, sugary special K. Yeah, I think we all kind of have him as a third, but the Chiefs clearly like him. So they're going to take their guys. We know they fall in love with guys, and they just do that. So that's their thing. Did I not put him on the board? I didn't. Interesting. must have been a typo. Nick Bonito's also off the board. The Broncos just selected him at 64. And Ryan has a third round grade on him. As well. So I don't know. I got some mixed results on his 40 time. Yeah, I've got literally two different things. I'm gonna pull up the beast really quick and see what is reported on it in here. So that's corner, safety. Okay. All right. So yeah, he didn't run at the combine. So we don't have he doesn't have an official on it. So I don't know. Weird. I saw a 4.59. I also saw a 4.34, which I don't know who to trust. So thank you for the super chat, the greatest. We don't have room for those picks trade up. I mean, you're not wrong in that sense. I think that they will, but are they going to trade up into the third, higher in the third? I think probably. I think they might be using that 5th round pick to do just that. So we'll wait and see. But yes, thank you for the super chat. Okay. So yeah, 4.59. The deep speed, it has been confirmed. 4.59. There's going to be a lot of questions about Nakobe Dean. I'm telling you, Nakobe Dean is falling because he is a tweener, and teams don't know what NFL teams don't know what to do with tweeners. They don't know where to put him at safety, where to put him at linebacker because they won't survive at one or the other. So he's falling because he's small. And as good as he is, I think that teams don't want to risk taking a player higher than required and failing on that pick. I think Isaiah Simmons has been a cautionary tale, and they don't want any part of that. So. It looks like we have another selection with the Jaguars selecting Luke Fortner, offensive guard, or it's actually center out of Kentucky. I had a third on Fortner, and a lot of people had Kennard over him in their rankings, but I didn't. So suck on that, everyone who had it. So I'm pretty comfortable with how the defense is looking, and they're addressing positions that they needed. Starter at a defensive end, starter at corner, and the third safety that they like to use a lot that can play like a dime backer role. So I'm pretty comfortable with how it is. I think that Cook, like I said, I've mentioned a few times, a little head scratching at the position in the second round, but all in all, the way that they're addressing this is a little bit different. I can't pull up Cook highlights because they would be copyright infringement, and I don't have any all 22 of them right now. So pretty okay with how the draft has gone so far. Anyone first round potential in your rankings? No. All of my first round draft grades are gone. Well, except Nakobe Dean. I did have a first on him, but apparently they disagree. And now the Vikings are on the clock. Oh, thank you to I know we had some drop in the amount of eyes on it, but thank you all for being here. 700 of you in the chat tonight. I know we got to wait a little bit until the Chiefs select again. Maybe they'll be trading up into the back half of the third round. But round 3 did start 2 picks ago. The Vikings with pick 66 selected Brian Asamoah out of Oklahoma, linebacker out of Oklahoma. Well, let's zoom back in, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Now, do you see anyone that they move up to get, or would you like to see them move up to get? Red Royce, thank you for the question. There's a couple areas I think that I would like them to go get, specifically one of these two guys, Perrin Winfrey or a DeMarvin Leal that I have as defensive tackles. Leal was in defensive end for Texas A&M, I think, but I'd be okay with them going to get either of these two guys to pair with Chris Jones on pass down situations. I think Channing Tindall is also a guy I really like. Chad Muma, a guy I really like. But these are like draft Twitter guys, and the NFL sees them pretty differently. But I would also really be looking to double down on defensive end. So maybe trade up to get a Kingsley Enigbare, just because he's another one of those along the lines of Drake Jackson and Sam Williams, where you have a ton of potential and length and build with all those things, and it's somebody that you could maybe develop into a guy. So, and this has been something I've talked about quite a little bit over the last couple of years. Turk was a surprise out of a UDFA kind of guy, and he made strides in his first year because no one knew about him. No one had tape on him. As soon as he, started to get accustomed and acclimated to the NFL level, people understood that his speed was his go-to, and he started to not produce as much. And he did the same thing last year, where he just wasn't as productive. And I don't necessarily see where he's going to be. So I want to believe in him, but I don't know. And then another player on off my board. I don't know who that is. Starting to get some names that I don't know. Interestingly enough. All right. Dan, if you could switch one pick Casey's made so far with which one and for who? I only get to pick one because the way that I would work it is that it would kind of cascade down. Their first two picks would be a little bit different, but um, in the grand scheme of things, I think could yeah. If I'm picking one, I'm probably, as much as I like McDuffie, I'm probably trading up to get Jermaine Johnson, and that would also impact how they reacted to 30, and it would have changed who they picked. I would imagine that McDuffie would have gone before they selected, but maybe you end up with Kyer Elam or Kyler Gordon instead, but you end up with Jermaine Johnson. So I don't know. Probably what I would have done. But again, I'm not a GM, so I don't get that. Thank you for the question, Jeremy. So then thoughts on if Wharton makes the 52 this year? I think he'll make the 52. I'm more worried about Colin Saunders not making the 52. Like that's what I'm worried about. That's a guy right there who didn't play after he came back from his injury, in my opinion, because he put on too much weight. Some of the Like, that's what I got a little worried about. George Karlaftis talking about the Kansas City barbecue. You come in here, you be eating all the time. Like, the way that he eats his Chipotle with nothing but rice and meat, that dude's going to be huge. Got me scared a little bit. So I don't know. I don't think that Saunders is a guarantee to make the list. Thank you for the question, Cody. Think we trade up again? Maybe. I think the third round with that extra pick that they got from the Patriots, they could move up in the third round here sometime. But it just started raining here, by the way. I can hear it outside. So if the internet cuts out again, you know why. Did we draft anyone we have that has visited? I don't know. I don't think so. But I haven't seen all of their visits, so it's possible. Thank you for the question. Poison? A lot. A lot. Like, smart. He's a much smarter player. He's more scheme versatile. I think Elam is more of a man press cover corner. Stylistically, he's not very good at tackler, in my opinion. And McDuffie is scheme versatile. He can tackle. He knows what's going on. So okay, so we do have another pick. Pick 68 is Martin Emerson, cornerback out of Mississippi State. He was my last second round draft grade for the corners. I watched him a little bit on my Twitch channel. He has some twitchiness to him, but he does give up some big plays and doesn't trust his hips all the time, and has some eye issues. He doesn't see the ball as well. So I think that he's got some upside. He has the tools to really become probably a corner 2, corner 3 in the NFL. And I do like that potential. So I think that the Browns here got themselves a nice rotational piece in their secondary with how they have everything else. I really like that addition to get somebody that can come in and learn from one of the guys they just locked down with the contract. So yeah, a good player that I think can become a cornerback 2, 3 in the cornerback 2 or 3 in the NFL. And Ryan also had a third round grade on. He had a third round grade on him. Okay, I think right. No, a fourth round grade on Martin Emerson. Whew, we got some differences there. Thank you very much, Stuart, for the super chat. Appreciate your draft analysis and Chiefs insight. Cheers. Cheers to you. Thank you for being here. I'm doing the best I can. Next year we're gonna have I'm gonna have more more opinions on players. I didn't get to as many people as I wanted to this year, so I'm working with what I have, and I'm hoping to be much better next year. We're gonna start draft content like after the draft is over for next year. So 2023 is going to start very, very soon for us. So thank you for your super chat, and I hope you enjoy everything that's going to happen on the NFL 33 Substack page from Ryan and myself with all that content. Thank you for the question, Quinn. Opinion on Tariq Woolen. Tariq Woolen is a straight line athlete. He can run down the field. He's fast. He has length. He's big. He just doesn't have hip movement, hip fluidity. His ankles don't let him change direction very well. So he's like a souped up version of Charvarius Ward in the sense that he needs to be able to go one direction laterally and be asked to not change direction and get guys that cross his face. So that's probably why he's falling as far as he is. And it looks like we have another selection here with pick 69. The Tennessee Titans select Nicholas Petit Frere, NPT in draft circles. And I did have an early third on him out of Ohio State. Long guy. he looked pretty good again. Both of the tackles looked pretty good against Karlaftis from OSU. Um, they really shut him down in that game. If you guys are interested to see some of the game, specifically the game where I thought he'd have a better game and have an opportunity to really shine against a better competition, Karlaftis against Ohio State. That one's the one you should go watch to see some of the limitations that he has, but hopefully areas that he improves upon. And NBT here was able to really shut him down. That length really gave him trouble. Hard for him to get around. So good developmental tackle, by the way. Very good developmental tackle. It fits exactly what the Tennessee Titans want to do. Excuse me. I'm pretty happy with the teams this year, not just taking quarterbacks because they need quarterbacks. Understanding this quarterback class is not good and waiting. Like, I'm okay with that. I only had as many second round grades on quarterbacks as I did because I bumped them up due to team need. All right, Alexa, play my music. All right. It is 8:42. The Chiefs don't pick again until pick 104. Does anybody else think they can't see the chart? Is it still too blurry? I haven't had any complaints about it, but maybe I'm just wrong. It is 103. My bad. Yeah, I understand. Netflix break. Nice. Yeah, okay. I didn't know. All right, so let's see. Chad Mumu was just selected by the Jaguars. It's another an upside linebacker pick. Athletic guy, can do everything in the run, not maybe everything in the run game, but he's good in the run game and is really a guy you're projecting to be your 3-down linebacker. Can do it all against the run, play against the pass. So makes sense for the Cards. If I could talk, the Jaguars trying to shore up that terrible defense that they have. Thank you for the question, Mac. Wonder if Veach trades up here to try and get Travis Jones or Cam Thomas. I don't know. I think maybe you can go get Cam Thomas now. That does make a bit of sense to me, especially because you do need defensive ends. Like, you can't count on anything outside of George Karlaftis to be a starter next year. That's it. That you have one guy who you know can be a starter next year. That's it. You still need pick. You still need defensive ends. So it's desperate need. So I would expect their next pick to be a defensive end. I'm not mad with their draft so far. Um, Again, I think I've got a couple picks that I wouldn't have made myself, but at the end of the day, you got to work with what you have. And really do like Skye Moore. I do like Trent McDuffie. I think Karlaftis can offer you something as an immediately a guy who can step in your defense to now and play. And Cook is going to be 100% a a third safety for Kansas City, a Dan Sorensen replacement. What's up with Melvin not signed? He doesn't want to do any of the off-season workouts. He doesn't want to do any of that stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me if he just waits it out, signs before the the training camps start, and makes his debut then. So that it wouldn't surprise me if he just waits it out. Why is Travis Jones low on my board? Where is my defensive line? No, he's not on my board. Where'd he go? I had him. I don't know where it went. That's the thing with these. That is the thing with these data sheets, is sometimes they get lost. I'm like 97% sure I had him as a third round player though. The UConn. Or did I put him somewhere else maybe? I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, no, he just got erased somehow. But I have him in the third round because he destroyed a bad level of competition. It's hard to project him, in my opinion. Oh, okay. So there's some injury concerns. I hadn't seen anything about Nakobe Dean. I just assumed it was because he's a tweener. But if he's got some legit injury concerns, then no one wants to touch him. I guess that makes sense. Thank you. Yeah, you can do Christian Harris in the third. You could do a lot of different linebackers in the third. Quite a bit. Where are we at? Where's the linebackers? Christian Harris, I think Leo Chanel, I think Shane Tyndall, too. Options. Darian Beavers, all options in the third. I can see the chart just fine, Anetta. I can read it just fine. I'm sorry. Talked a little about Tariq Woolen. Tariq Woolen is a very lateral athlete. Oh, wait. We have another pick. All right. So I had a fifth round pick on Velus Jones, who just went in the third round to the Bears. Older player too, another one of those guys. It's 24 years old. Doesn't really know how to run routes. He has a lot of juice as a returner, a lot of speed. He does have some twitch too. He's kind of like a discount Kadarius Toney in the sense that they want that speed and twitch ability. So I can understand it from that point. But if you're asking him to be a receiver, a complete receiver, ever, I don't think that's ever going to happen. That's my opinion. Thank you for the question. Whew. How many picks do the Chiefs have in the third round? They had 2 to begin with, and they traded one of those to go get Trent McDuffie, so they only have the 103rd pick in the draft. Thank you, Poison, for the super chat. Appreciate you. I like Brian Robinson, but not on the Kansas City Chiefs. They already have slow running backs that move well, but don't want to use them properly. So, Greg Brown, thank you for the question. Don't you have to go D-line next? Maybe. The Chiefs, they have somebody. They have somebody that they want, and I don't know who it is. It could be any number of positions, but I think defensive end is where they have to go myself. Oh, we have another pick. Seattle Seahawks select Abraham Lucas, tackle out of Washington State. This is a guy that Ryan really liked as a developmental kind of guy, but has some starting traits as well. I had a third round grade on him. Where'd Ryan have him? This one's very blurry to me. Ryan had a second on Abraham Lucas, so he was much higher on him than I was. If you guys new to the chat and you want me to see what you're saying, put question marks in front of your questions so I can pick them out. All right, so overarching, I think Brian Cook is a guy that's going to be your third safety. He's going to fill that Dan Sorensen role. It's something that they value a lot. So while to me it's a head scratching move to pick Brian Cook, a guy who I'd had a third round draft grade on myself, it makes a lot of sense for them to take a position that they extremely value, and they want to have a guy that can come in, play like a dime backer role, but can be a true thumper in the run game, can get you some of those plays that Dan Sorensen made underneath. That they really do. They really count on them. And the fact that they were continuing to trot Dan Sorensen out there tells you that they needed somebody to replace him. And so they definitely thought that it was a good idea to go ahead and draft that position, which, I don't disagree with in the grand scheme of things, with it being that important to their defense. Where did I go? Thank you, Low Caddy. Rashad White in the fourth. If we're talking running backs from KC, no, I'm not. I think I have like a fifth or a sixth on Rashad White. Where is he? There he is. Yeah, I have a fifth on Rashad White. I wouldn't take him until the fifth. And I don't think Kansas City should be taking running back until at least fifth, sixth, seventh. Can we trade 2 sevenths to move up into the third? I'm not huge on the draft, the trade ups. I don't really know all the values and stuff like that. I don't have it pulled up either. So the Patriots used a fifth to move up 4 spots in the second round. So I think you maybe be able to use 2 sevenths to get you something maybe from the fifth to the fourth, maybe from the fourth to the end of the third, or fourth into the higher in the fourth, maybe something like that. Oh, geez. Let's see, a tackle in the fifth. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they wanted to take a tackle, a developmental right tackle in the fifth round. If they use that that fifth round they got for that specific reason, it would not surprise me in the slightest. Would make a lot of sense. Thank you for the question, Matthew. Raymond fallen so much. Yeah. Interestingly enough, like I don't know why he's fallen that much. I didn't have. I mean, I had an early second round grade on him, but teams are apparently pretty concerned about him. They even took his teammate Luke Gadecki, who's my guy, ahead of him, and I found that a little bit interesting. Reminds me a little bit of Trevor Penning in the sense that he's raw, but and has all the athletic traits. Strong dude as well. So I don't know. It's interesting to me too. All right. Thank you for the question, Bradley. Please 10-second recap of your thoughts on picks from round 2. So yeah, the Chiefs picked Skye Moore. They traded back to get Skye Moore, and then they took Brian Cook at the end of the second. 2 guys that are going to step in and also be contributors. I think Brian Cook's going to be your third safety off the bench, the first guy off there, play that dime backer role. Skye Moore is going to be a guy you can really look to get involved in the offense early. He's a good route runner. Obviously, he's going to have to learn the offense. You already have your wide receiver offense set up with Hardman, MVS, and Juju Smith-Schuster. So there's already that in place. And he's a guy who's going to come and probably make his biggest contributions next year, not this year. All right, so we have 2 picks here. The Colts selected Jelani Woods out of Virginia, tight end, guy who tested off the charts, and, you know, it is what it is. I didn't think he would be the second tight end off the board. I also had, what was it, a fifth round grade on him. So you really betting on those athletic traits. Really betting on those athletic traits. But yeah, good for them going to get their guy. And then you have the Atlanta Falcons taking Desmond Ridder, my highest ranked quarterback this season. So there's that. Interestingly enough, I think that that's actually a pretty good pick. I like it. I've been saying a lot so far. Very, very interesting. I like the Desmond Ridder pick for the Falcons. I think he's the most NFL ready quarterback in this class. And Justin Ross is falling because he had back spinal fusion surgery a little over a year ago, and nobody wants to touch him. All right. Sorry, I'm just responding to my wife really quick. All right. So I think Travis Jones is falling. There's a lot of talk about Travis Jones. A lot of talk about him falling because of the level of competition. I think is the biggest issue with Travis Jones coming out of UConn. It's hard to really get a gauge on him because UConn is a really, really bad football school. Um, oh, Dan, thank you for the comment, Chris. Dan, love this draft so far, except Carl off this. Yeah, it's pretty. That's my feelings too. Like I said, I'm coming around on the idea of how the Chiefs are going to use him, so I'm getting a little bit more okay with it. Thank you, Tyler. Yeah, I like Marvin Leal as well, a guy who played defensive end, but you're probably going to kick inside and get some legit pass rush juice from. DeMarvin Leal is a guy I really do like. So we're at the point now where the NFL values these guys in a way different way than a lot of us do, and we get draft crushes, and that typically tends to cloud a lot of our judgments in terms of where the NFL typically sees these day two guys, and it usually can vary from a round to a round down, maybe a little bit here and there. But I do think that he's a guy that is going to be able to create some legit pass rush juice as that a guy you can put next to a Chris Jones and really help the whole system get better. Thank you, Maglorious. What's your list of our three biggest positions of need at this point? Positions of need. Defensive end is number one. Jeez. Sorry. Defensive end's probably number one for me. Corner would still be after that because they still need corners in my opinion. And then after that, probably tackle depth. I think those are my one, two, and three. Thank you, Jason. I might have missed this, but nice with the draft card. I like it. Whose name is on it? This is the draft card from when the Chiefs traded up to get Patrick Mahomes. So I like that pretty much. I like that a lot. Mike, sorry, did Cam Thomas get picked? No, Cam Thomas is still on the board. He is still out there, to my knowledge. The Texans went and picked Christian Harris, linebacker out of Alabama. Had a second round grade on him. Ryan had a third round grade on him, so more accurate than me. Do you think we trade up into the 80s, Tyler? I hope so. I'll be honest. I hope so. That would be nice. Yeah, this is a pretty big thought right now. There's a lot of guys on the board that I thought would be gone in second. I thought Perrin Winfrey, DeMarvin Leal, Cam Thomas, Leo Chanel would all be guys taken in second round. Bernard Raymond and Daniel Falal out of Minnesota would be too. So yeah, interesting. Thank you, Maglorious. Anyone still on the board you think can compete to immediately start for Kansas City? Immediately start? No, I don't. I think those are gone. I think those are gone. Nice. There's Travis Jones, everybody. Travis Jones goes to of course, he goes to the Baltimore Ravens. That makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. And the reason I had Falal in the second is because of his athletic traits. That's it. His technical stuff was not great. So I think this is a really good value pick for the Ravens. And again, they love these defensive tackles. They absolutely love them. This is just a easy Baltimore Ravens pick. This feels weird to mainly focus on drafting defense. Who, Kansas City? About time, right? Only been asking for them to do it forever. Makes sense. They need it. Um, they're pretty comfortable on offense. As long as they have the offense line and Patrick Mahomes, they're golden. They'll figure it out. But as soon as you have to make him do everything, that doesn't work. You need a defense. So yeah, I'm happy about it. Thank you for the question, Kevin. I know scheme is a big part of the evaluation, but I feel like the Chiefs make too much of it when they draft. They have their guys. That's all I can tell you. With Steve Spagnuolo, it's very specific. He has guys. I'll be right back. I just have to change out the battery on my camera. Okay. So back to the question. Spags is very, very specific, dude. Like he has guys that he wants and he knows exactly the kind of types that he wants. That's the biggest problem for me is that his defense is a little archaic for for today's offenses. And I don't think that it's perfectly adapted to the way quarterbacks are more athletic, the way they get the ball out so quickly. So that's how I feel. They clearly have different opinions about how they should be drafting defensive players. Raymond to play right tackle. I think you compete immediately to start. I think he and Niang are actually quite similar in terms of starting potential, and you already have Niang, assuming he gets back to full health this year, as NFL starting experience. So I would still lean Niang in that situation. Yes, we got Skye Moore. He's going to be their fourth, probably. All right. So, who available do you think would bring the best pass rush? Well, let's see who we got. Out of the guys that I have left on my board, because this is all I was able to watch for defensive end, I think it would be Najee Sanders out of Cincinnati. I think he's got the most juice, most pass rush juice. Who knows what he's doing right off the bat? So that's what I would go with, and then it would be Cam Thomas, and then Kingsley and Ibare. Those are the guys that would go. Thank you for the question, Duggins or Duggankiss. So far, Dan, I think we have 4 picks in the top 100. Do you think so? They only have 3 picks in the top 100, and then they have 103. So technically, yes. Chris Palmer, thank you for the question. Would you trade up to get Winfrey out of Oklahoma? I would, most definitely. I think I definitely would. I'm not going to roast them in the chat. I saw someone say something. I'm not going to roast them. But we have a Colts pick. Bernard Raymond now goes off the board. There it is, everybody. The fall is stopped. Is ceased. No more. Thank you for the super chat, the greatest. There are at least 2 defense tackles available that are starters. Not for this team, though, because you already have your starters in Chris Jones and um, Derek Nani. So I don't think Perry and Winfrey can come in and be a defensive tackle like that. He can't play against the run, much like Marvin Leal right now. They can't be those defensive tackles that the Chiefs need as Derek Nani. So you needed a guy that can come in and be more than that on pass rush downs, but they can. They're just not all around guys yet. Double dip at corner with Bryant. I would probably go if the defensive ends go off the board, I'm probably taking another corner. Yes, Cornell Powell is on the practice squad, and I do think that he has a chance to be the last receiver in. It's going to be tough now, though. It's going to be tough. Hoping that he advances, but I think he's got a chance to be the last guy in. That's about it. I think the talk of Cameron Thomas's conditioning causing him to fall, possibly, but what I saw on tape, I can see just kind of being like, okay, with that, but it also might be the conditioning too. So it definitely probably is a question, probably causing his fall too. Dan, did you know Skye Moore has the biggest hands of all receivers in this class? What? I have to confirm this right now. I have to know. 10 and it's not surprising. 10 and a quarter, if that's the biggest hands. 10 and a quarter inch hands, which is not surprising the way he catches the football. Tell you right now, dude can catch the ball. So if that's true, thank you. I did not know that. It makes me very happy. Thank you for the question. Is Tyndall at 1-3 worth it? I think he is. I think he can be that good, but also be that kind of coverage guy. So yeah, I think so. Thank you for the super chat, Super Blood. If you have a question, please go ahead and ask it. I'm sorry, guys. I don't have anybody in here. I don't have a moderator tonight. Our fearless moderator is not here, and I can't see all the spam. I can't see it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sometimes. We have another pick. The Browns picked Alex Wright, defensive end out of UAB. Another athletic dude. I didn't actually get his tape at all. I didn't get any UAB tape, so I don't have him on my board for that reason. I'm sorry, guys. I can't help the spam. I can't see it. Thank you, Jonathan, for the super chat. I'm late. Thoughts on Skye Moore? Love it. Skye Moore is one of my more favorite guys. I really do like him. I think he can contribute a lot more than a guy like Demarcus Robinson could, more than Byron Pringle can. So, I mean, that's me. The Chargers just took JT Woods. Interesting. Very interesting to pick JT Woods. Oh, don't have him on my board. Where'd he go? Whatever. It's starting to get to that point anyway, isn't it? All right, so Ryan has a 4th on JT Woods. He was one of the safeties that the Chiefs actually had in. We'll probably go to his now anyway. Mine's starting to get outdated. But JT Woods is a guy that Ryan, the Chiefs had in on one of their meetings. I think he can convert to play corner a little bit. But with them having 2 guys that start for him, it's a little interesting to me. All right. Thank you for the question. Usernames: Juju, Hardman, Skye, MVS, Gordon, Powell. Do they carry these 6? That's definitely possible. I can see that being the receivers that make it on the roster. I don't think Kemp is on the team right now, so no. Yeah, all the draft, both of mine, my board and Ryan's board, are available on the NFL33.com Substack page. You can download them right there and follow along if you want to. I'm trying, Tyler. I am trying so hard to just fast forward. But we are now, what is it? 22 picks away. And the Broncos select Greg Dolcich out of UCLA. So if you're a fantasy player and you thought Albert Ogowebanam was going to have a great season, that's probably on hold. Oh, wait, that's still showing up, isn't it? Yeah, so Nakobe Dean does have medical issues. So Greg Dolcich. He was my tight end 3 in this draft, 3rd round grade. So that does make some sense. And I think that's a perfect match for them. A guy you can use down the field as well, but also has some blocking ability. So I do like him. Thank you, Space Oof. Sammy Watkins versus Skye when Sammy was a Chief. I'm not gonna be able to know until I get Skye in the NFL. Like what Sammy brought to the Chiefs offense was a different element when he was healthy. He could do it all, and unfortunately, he was unable to stay healthy. And he really turned into a running back when he caught the ball. So Sammy is a different breed when he was healthy. Just he never was. Skye, can he be that? I don't know. I'm not sure. I would love him to be, but right now I know what Watkins was in the NFL, specifically for the Chiefs. So thank you for the super chat, the life expert. What do you think of Jeremy Rucker as our next pick? It wouldn't surprise me if I'm being very honest with you. It would not surprise me. I think that third round. I talked a little bit about this on the radio over the past week and a half ish. So I think that they could sneaky be trying to get a Rucker, a Jeremy Ferguson, some of these athletic tight ends to develop behind Travis Kelce. I know they have quite a bit of depth back there right now, but I don't think that they think any of these guys can be legit. So I would not surprise me. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you, Jonathan, once again for the super chat. Is the spreadsheet style draft board available? Yeah, that's both of them are on the Substack, but not like this. It's more of a print version like Ryan's right here. You can't. I don't know if you can download the actual like um, data sheet. All right, Giants are on the board at 81. Let's see. Where do I? Pretty sure. All right. By the way, I do have music on in the background. Is anybody like disturbed by it, or is it like too loud? I just want to make sure. Thank you for the super chat, a Super Blood Wolfman, Daniel Falal or Darian Kennard. I think I'd go Falal. How to pronounce his last name, Falal, because I think he's got more athletic upside as a tackle. I don't think Kennard can play tackle in the NFL. Also, Terrence Marshall Jr., Dehamy Brown, and Nick Bolton. Hey, hey! Don't you tell me. Oh, you can't hear it? Okay, never mind. Never mind. A little bit. We'll see if I don't want to get it too loud. But I don't like your tone, Super Blood Wolf man. Thank you for the super chat. Alexa, play my music. All right. So the Giants just picked Cordale Flott, cornerback out of LSU. All right. Interesting. I didn't get much of Flott, but playing in LSU's defense is always helpful for corners. I think that helps you get acclimated to the NFL pretty quickly. But playing across from Derek Stingley, I think you can help. You can kind of project a little bit in the fact that he's at least going to have some idea of what he's doing. I didn't want it to be loud, everybody. I know someone asked about D'Angelo Malone, edge out of Western Kentucky. I didn't get to see him, but the Atlanta Falcons just picked him. So interesting. All right. I don't think they can copyright me for listening to music, but I guess they could. How do you feel about the other AFC West picks so far? If I'm being honest, I haven't really noticed them. I think that um, they haven't had a whole lot, to be honest with you, that I can remember because they've been trading their picks away for other players. Have the Raiders even picked? I don't remember any of their picks. So, William, thank you for the question. Jake Ferguson or Charlie Collier? I'm a Ferguson over Collier guy myself. Have you watched Austin Allen at all? I don't. I have not seen him table talk. I apologize. Like I said, this year was rough. This year was rough. We are really going to be hammering down more draft content after it starts for 2023 or after this ends and really getting more into it. So trying to get better acclimated to the whole draft process. I'm not big on comps, guys. So I try not to do comps one because I don't know as much about players that used to play than a lot of people do that do comps. So I try to stay away from them for the most part. And I just try to let everyone be who they are. That's kind of what I'm more about. Thank you, Tyler. All right. Hopefully the Chiefs jump up in the next 15 picks. I would hope so. But I don't know. I mean, I would like to see them jump up. I would. I think getting a corner makes some sense. Maybe getting Kingsley, Enigbare, Majay Sanders, maybe someone like that. I don't know. I would like to see it. Thanks, Jonathan. What are the odds of them taking another more explosive wide receiver, like maybe a small school guy in late round, super athletic like Calvin Austin? Probably zero. I guess I won't say zero. Probably closer to 15, 20%, in my opinion, because they have McCole Hardman. I think that they still want to keep McCole Hardman on the team past this year to have that speed element and not have to try to chase it. So that's what I think. Jesse, thanks for the super chat. I'm hoping for John Ridgeway. Any thoughts? Where is he? Where is he? I have. Where'd you go? No. I do have a late third on John Ridgeway out of Arkansas, and he's a guy that I do think fits with what Kansas City is trying to do, specifically as that. If I'm not mistaking him for somebody else, as a guy who can penetrate the offensive lines, big, long kind of guy like that. So that's what I'm thinking. What pick are we on? I'm showing the Eagles pick has not been taken yet, but I'm sure he's about to be. And there's the pick for Nakobe Dean. Finally, the fall stops for Nakobe Dean. Hopefully his medicals get figured out because the Eagles kind of desperately need a linebacker. Good for Nakobe Dean. He was the last guy I had a first round grade on. And if his injury issue was that big of a deal, it caused a slide into the third round. I'm hoping he gets it figured out. The Eagles desperately need linebacker play. And at this point, if you feel confident enough that he can play this season, I think you have to take him. So I think that's a good pick for the Eagles. Great value, and hope his injury issues get figured out. Now we are on pick 84. The Pittsburgh Steelers. A letter grade for each pick so far. So I give the McDuffie pick an A. I think it was great value going up to get him too, even though you gave up a third and a fourth. I think the player that he is, I would give that an A with the trade. Karlaftis, B- for me, because I feel like he's a floor player, not huge amount of upside. We'll see. definitely be wrong about that, but I think he's a guy who can come in now, contribute, be a starter opposite of Frank Clark, and give you immediate impact in the run game with that strength. So a B for me there. And then our third pick in Skye Moore, I have an A because of the value. Again, a guy who was getting talked about in the first round most of the draft cycle in the last couple weeks, a couple months, and they traded back, acquired another pick to also take him at 54. So that was an A for me. And Brian Cook, kind of a C, mostly because I don't think you needed to pick a safety in the second round. You probably could have gotten Brian Cook later, and there were other places I would have personally gone myself. So that's how I'm feeling right now. There's always going to be worthwhile picks. Players are always on the board that I like. There's always going to be some players I like. Jalen Tolbert's still on the board. Calvin Austin's on the board. DeMarvin Leal just got picked by the Steelers at 84. Perion Winfrey's still on the board. I think that Majay Sanders is still a worthwhile pick. I think Kobe Bryant can be a worthwhile pick. I think Zion McCollum can be a worthwhile pick. Even Kingsley Enagbare can be a worthwhile pick. Tight end is actually where we're starting to get to the point where it's worthwhile. I think Isaiah Likely is a much better player than his testing. Kate Otten is a guy I really like. Jake Ferguson, Jake Rucker, quite a bit. Running back is really the value right now. Only 2 running backs selected in this draft. So lots of them. For the love of God, Howie. Finally, right? Finally taking a linebacker. Matt Reed's a late round pick. Love the content. Watch the channel daily. Thank you, Kevin, for the super chat. Appreciate that so very much. I think he's going before that. I think he might go 4th, 5th round. And I don't think they should do it. Granted, I would love to see the Chiefs punters actually start to look to the corner and not just boot it down there. I like Townsend, but I've never seen him try to go for the sideline ever. And that bothers me. Bothers me. So now we're on pick 85. Oh. Yes, the safety room is going to be better. The safety room is definitely going to be better. Much better than it has been in the past. Specifically the third safety. I think that Juan Thornhill and Matthew still were very, very good. But, Juan's getting, we don't know much about Juan if he's going to get better out of his injury. And, Matthew was starting to tear down the end there. So, there is Marcus Jones, cornerback out of Houston, is a lot of draft Twitter's favorite player. A lot of love for him everywhere. Just a guy that competes. He goes to the Patriots. Makes sense, right? Bet you he turns into some Pro Bowler with Bill Belichick because that's just what he does. Yeah, Jets draft has been awesome. They've done a great job. I think the Jets could do close to what the Bengals did last year if Zach Wilson actually takes a step forward. He showed flashes last year, stopped turning the ball over at the end of the season a little bit more. I do think he's got the talent. I'm hoping the offensive line for the Jets gets better because I think that they can actually turn it around this year if Salah can get that defense right. They have the playmakers on offense. I do think that they've done a really good job of getting players. Raiders don't want to draft. The Raiders are not interested in drafting. Just I think the Titans just traded up with them. They moved a couple picks up. That's funny. What's going on, Jim Bot? Yeah, finally. Thank you for joining. It has been a marathon. Last night was 3 hours. Tonight's going to be over 3 hours because the second round lasts a little bit longer. So yeah, it's been a lot. Thank you, Sean. Is McDuffie that much better than Kyler Gordon? It made the extra capital worth it. Yes, it did. It's because as much as I like Kyler Gordon, I think he can be good in multiple areas as well, but he doesn't tackle very well. And he gets open, he gets in space and takes poor angles to wide receivers and overruns those angles and lets people into open space. McDuffie, not only because he close better, he knows he's kind of like Matthew in the sense that he sees things coming. He can see it happen before it does, and he tackles extremely well. He's got shorter arms than Gordon does, but he knows how to use them. He's aggressive, and he can really lay the lumber on some of these guys. So yes, I do think he's a much better player, worth the capital. Jason, thank you for the question. With pick 86, oh, that's not what I was looking for, but yeah. Oh, the Titans select Malik Willis. Look at that. There was a question I was trying to answer. That's funny. Do you like the picks we have as of now? Yeah. I have the draft as a B plus still. It's leaning in the right direction. I think that I'm okay with the way that it's turning out. Was Skye Moore the receiver with the markedly low drop rate? He does have a very low drop rate. He's got excellent hands. I don't know if it was the lowest, but I do know that the 10 and a quarter inch hands for a guy his size, he does not drop the ball very often. Would I like to see Chiefs draft get Mage or Cam Thomas? Personally, I would go Sanders over Thomas because I think there's more upside and there's more twitch and explosion with him. I think Cam Thomas is another type of Karlaftis in the sense that he's going to be a run first guy with not as much lateral agility, more of a linear athlete. So I would personally take Sanders. Thank you for the super chat, William. Raiders about to draft the UDFA. Watch. I mean, they no longer have Mike Mayock or I can see his face, but I can't remember his name. Their dumb head coach anymore. I just want to forget about him. Thank you for the super chat, Legend, the creator. Appreciate you. There's the question. I found it. Baker or Jimmy going to get traded? Any ideas on those two? I think that Baker has to get traded. I don't think that there's a situation that he doesn't get traded. I do think that there's a very high situation where Jimmy Garoppolo stays in San Francisco. I think that there's a higher chance of that happening than Baker Mayfield not being traded or Sam Darnold starting for the. Actually, I think there's actually a pretty good chance of Sam Darnold starting for the Panthers this year. But yeah, I think there's a high chance that Jimmy is still in San Francisco next year. Early thoughts on the Tyreek Hill trade being worth it or not? Thank you, Bradley. Gruden, yeah, that's his name. Gruden, John Gruden. Alexa, skip. So factoring in cap money, like money, I'm gonna have to lean towards yes. While there is no way to replace Tyreek Hill in what he brings to an offense, how he changes the dynamic of the way defenses have to play the game. There is no way to do that. There's no way. What he does completely changes the dynamic of a defense. It has allowed the Chiefs to become more flexible down the line, to add more players, and to go get guys that they needed for this draft. They needed more defensive players. They desperately needed young starters, and it allowed them to do that. So I'm going to say yes. Perry and Winfrey or Cam Thomas at 103. Too late. Cam Thomas is now an Arizona Cardinal. So Perry and Winfrey, James. Thank you for the question time. Is it normal for a team, the Patriots, to use their top picks on players ranked in the third and fourth rounds? I mean, have you seen the Patriots draft? That's what they do. But typically, unless you're the Raiders or the Patriots, no. Thank you, Jonathan. How's your brain manage to remember so many specifics about many players each year? No, I'm not a kid genius. I don't even do it as much as the draft guys do it. Like Dane Brugler, like the 300 plus pages that they go through. Like I can't do that. That's not my thing. But it's a lot of repetition. It's a lot of repetition, and it's practice, 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 practice. All right, let's get back to the board and update this real quick. So we do have DeMarvin Leal off the board now. We also have Marcus Jones. We also have Malik Willis. That's the other guy there. Gone. Cameron Thomas is gone too. And there goes Jalen Tolbert. Oh, man. I love Jalen Tolbert. Cowboys got themselves a good player. It's a good landing spot for him, too, if you guys do fantasy. All right. Mo, they got to get players. they want players. The sevenths, I think they're going to end up using, but they still need players to start. And I think that they still need depth at defensive tackle, corner, defensive end. So yeah, I think that they know they need to get some players. RJ, I know you're not happy. I know. What's going on, man? Time, do you think Kobe Bryant is our next pick? I don't. I don't think it's going to be him. I wouldn't be mad about it, but I think they still need to go defensive tackle or defensive end. Thank you, Frank. Perrion, Majay, or Bryant. I'm probably taking Sanders myself. And I like Perrion. Thank you, Sam. Thoughts on having Perrion developed next to Chris Jones? Yeah, I love that idea. I think he's probably going to end up going before the Chiefs pick. But I also think that they need defensive end more than defensive tackle. RJ, you know that he's not. Just don't get sucked into it. Thank you, Joseph. Any hope for Chantino to Kansas City? Yeah, I think there's definitely an area where that happens. He's also another projection, but he plays downhill very, very well. Very, very fast guy, click and close like a corner type speed. He also has the athletic ability to get back out in coverage. So I think that he's somebody who they probably have as a third round, fourth round kind of guy that can come in and play some of your third downs next to a Willie Gay and maybe solidify that linebacker room. Thank you for the super chat once again. Thank you. Yes, Vince, any chance we still sign Ingram? I think there's still a very good chance that they do because they still need edge. And I think that ideally next year you would like to have Frank Clark next to Chris Jones, next to George Karlaftis, next to Melvin Ingram as a pass rush trio on third downs. I think that would be ideal. Ideal. We also have another pick. I don't have Terrell Barnard on my sheet. Interesting. If the defense is bad this year, what does it say about Spags? It confirms everything that I've said, that his defense is not built for today's NFL. But I'm hoping he's starting to get some more input from his coaching staff. I'll just say that. Thank you for the question, Chief Boy. Is Rachaad White gone? No, Rachaad White still on the board. There's only been 2 running backs selected, and I have a 5th round grade on Rachaad White. So he's probably going to last quite a while. The legend, the creator, thank you. George versus Frank. Who do you think is better value? And in 2 years, who is better? Well, that's going to be Karlaftis by quite a large margin, in my opinion. Thank you for the super chat, William. If the Chiefs draft Majay, I will sleep easy tonight. I'm right with you. Right with you. Oh, yeah, there's 3 of the running backs. My bad. What do you think about drafting Tariq Woolen right now? Yeah, I give it a shot. A faster type of Tarvarius Ward in this defense, I'd be okay with that. So the Baylor did, the Bear. I'm just having issues talking. The Bills took Terrell Bernard, linebacker out of Baylor, who wasn't even on my board. So that's interesting. No, Jalen Tolbert was actually drafted by the Dallas Cowboys 2 picks ago. Any other wide receivers that are potential starters? Let's see here. What do we got at wide receiver? All right, so I think that there are 2 guys. One guy that's plug and play. Probably okay. There's 2 guys that are plug and play, but it's because they're slots. Kyle Phillips out of UCLA and David Bell out of Purdue are 2 guys that I think that can come in and be legitimate slot players in the NFL. I think Calvin Austin probably can too, and really give you something in those positions. But are there any like outside guys that can come in and start? No, none of those left. They're all gone. All right, so now the Raiders are finally on the clock, huh? I've had this question quite a bit. I'll answer once again. What compensation did the Chiefs get for trading down with New England at pick 50? They went from 50 to 54, and they got pick 158, so a 5th rounder. Thank you, Sean. Maybe take wide receiver David Bell tomorrow. Maybe. I feel like Skye Moore brings your slot type of player too, but also can play on the outside and can do more. So probably not. No, there goes Dylan Parham to the Raiders. All right. Still 600 of you in here. I thank you so much for being here. If you're new to the channel, hit that like, hit the bell, hit the sub notification. Also, if you're new, you want to ask a question, make sure to put question marks in front of them in the chat. Makes it easier for us to really pick them out. And if also, we have our new Substack here at the RGR Football Channel, NFL33.com. Please make sure to check that out. There's a lot of content up right now prior to the draft. Almost all of it's free, I think, right now. But we will be adding more paid for content, and we're going to be doing everything NFL and up. So All right. So yeah, Raiders got themselves a good player in my opinion. I like Dylan Parham quite a bit. Was a second round grade for me out of Memphis. Thank you, William. I love Samari Torre. I know a lot of people do. I just don't. I don't think he translates to the NFL very well. That's just me. That's just me. Will Winfrey be at 1-3? Definitely possible. With the way this is going down, it's definitely possible. And Igbari will be there too. And no, they should not get Deebo Samuel. Yeah, I would like Tariq Woolen. I think I've already hit it on that a little bit. Who is better, CD or Deebo? Right now, I'd say Deebo. Winfrey or Kobe Bryant in the end of the third. Oh, give me Winfrey. Oh, William, that's funny. If the Chiefs took Leo Chanel, would you scream in a good way or a bad way? It'd be a bad way because he's just like a bigger um, Nick Bolton. Any offensive tackles worth taking in the third to solidify right tackle? No, not anymore. That has passed. You could probably take a flyer on a guy like Falel, but no. Probably not in their plans anymore. As on day 2 anyway. So we did have another pick go off the board here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Rachaad White. You guys are asking about Rachaad White, and he goes off the board. It's like something that's like everyone hears you guys talking about him. But again, I had a 5th round grade on him. Interesting. Tampa Bay is looking to get some production. I'm not entirely sure. At running back, they're probably planning for their days after Leonard Fournette, getting a 1-2 punch. Interesting. Okay. I think maybe. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. And then we also have another pick for the Green Bay Packers, Sean Ryan out of UCLA, who I have actually slated as an interior offensive lineman. And I had a 3rd round grade on him. So right in that spot. Thank you for the super chat, Mez. Great job tonight. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm doing doing everything I can. I know it's in the times between the Chiefs pick is not the best situation. So I'm doing what I can to at least, answer questions, keep it moving, and just trying to keep it flowing. Sorry, I'm skipping down to the end here, guys. How many picks do the Chiefs currently hold? So you have 1 in the 4th. You still have the 1 in the 3rd that you have right now. You have 1 in the 5th now. So you have 3 picks there. Then you have 4 7th rounders, 3 7th rounders, something like that. So quite a bit. Do the Chiefs get a coverage linebacker this draft the way it's falling? They definitely could. It's going to be on their priority list, I think, because they need to do that. I know I saw a comment from you, Chris. I'm going to go back and find it. Oh, there you are. I'm doing good, man. How you doing? I'm okay talking about him again. If you want to hear. Appreciate you, Doug. Thank you very much. Doing everything we can here. Hold down the fort because no one's been available to come on with me. So thank you. Would you rather have Pickens? I think I'm okay with Moore. Yeah, I'm good with Moore. They both are different. They're very different players. Very different players. But I think I'm pretty happy with Moore being able to trade down with him. Jerome Ford in the 5th with the 5th they got from New England. Interesting. I like Ford. Like, he's my RB3. So if they can find a way to get him in the 6th, maybe. I have PTSD, guys, and it's not because I don't like Clyde. I just can't do it in the first round. Falal is another Orlando Brown. Like to see him on the other side of him. Thoughts? So I don't necessarily think that's the case in terms of athletic ability, but footwork and technique, yes, you're very right about that. I think I would still have Lucas Niang over Falal. Is there a good amount of potential even in the 7th round? No. There's a lot of crapshoots. You're talking about going to draft running backs, end of roster specialists. That's what you're looking at in the 7th round. So wouldn't surprise me if they tried to use them to get up into the 6th, something like that, to try and get someone that they like that is under the radar, a smaller school guy, something that they've done multiple years in a row. Oh, don't worry, Chris. We can cover it. Did you see Lamar's what the F tweet last night? What team is he going to? Lamar's staying in Baltimore, in my opinion. That's where he's. Can somebody explain to me what San Francisco is doing? I'm sorry, I have to derail the chat right now. I have to derail this. This is nonsense. Last year they selected 2 running backs, and Trey Sermon and Elijah Mitchell. They just drafted another running back, Tyrone Price, or Davis Price out of LSU. What are they doing? Are they just trying to replace Debo now with a running back? Thank you, Super Blood Wolf Moon, for the super chat. Next wide receiver we draft probably has to be a factor in special teams. Definitely. We lost D-Rob and Pringle and may lose Kemp. I don't see MVS or Juju returning punts. No, you're right. They're going to have to contribute in special teams. Maybe they think Powell can do that too. So that's one way you have to find a way on the roster. If Powell can contribute in special teams, you can find a way there. But I do think you're right in the sense that that's going to be specifically a need for the next guy that they draft. Sorry, guys, I'm a bit behind here. Going to the. Did the 49ers waste a pick? They most definitely wasted a pick. That dude wasn't even on my board. So the Panthers just traded up to the 3rd round. Oh, man. Oh, the 49ers pulling the Oakland draft, all the safeties. I don't know what's going on right now. Like, the 49ers are just the most head-scratching team with these running backs. And that's coming from somebody who, covers fantasy football. It's frustrating trying to figure out what running back they're going to use. All right. So what defensive ends are left? I have only 2 guys left on my board that I've watched, that I've seen. It's Kingsley Enagbare, who's a very, 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 very raw athlete. Doesn't know how to play the position yet. And then you have Majay Sanders, who's shown that he can put weight on and take it off. So hoping he can put a little bit more on if they want that to happen. All right. Oh, Matt Corral just went too. There they go. Matt Corral off the board. What do I think about McDuffie returning kicks and punts? Probably punts, not kicks. I think that's what we're going to see. But I would like that very much. Why do I have a 5th on Rachaad White? Because I don't think he's a very good running back. I think that he plays smaller than he is. The dude's like 6 foot, 200 plus pounds. He plays like he's 5'10", 185. He goes down on first contact far too easily. His vision is suspect. He's a very good pass catcher. But I struggled seeing it with him. That's all. What holes are left for Casey? Thank you for the question. New pun or new punk rants. You still have some depth at defensive tackle, defensive end, and corner to fill right now that they need. So did they mean to pick Dameon Pierce and pick Davis Price by accident? That'd be funny. That'd be so funny. Why do you think Winfrey is falling so far? I don't know. I think that, I think the biggest thing is that he was a Senior Bowl producer, and that was it. I think that he didn't do much before that, and when you have these spikes in your performance, and Florida State again is not known for developing their players, so I don't know. That's all I can say. Have you watched any Devin Tompkins tape? I have not. Not on my board. All right, guys. There's not everybody. I don't get everybody. Thoughts on Kingsley Enagbare? Sorry, I've already covered. Yeah, no big deal. I think that he's a very, very raw athlete that is learning the position. He's long. He's got power. He has speed to power, like lanky, long arms. You're just kind of hoping that he can get in an NFL weight room and team and learn the position, learn how to really play the run, string moves together, get your counters right. Again, still very, very raw. Oh, I only have 2 edges on my board, and the 3, and the other guy that I was just thinking about was Zachary Carter out of Florida that didn't get put on my boards for some reason. He would have been the 3rd guy, but it was Enagbare and Sanders. Is Skye Moore basically Albert Wilson? Is that the floor or the ceiling? Maybe. I don't know. That's a hard one for me. I think he's better than Albert Wilson. So the floor, probably not. And what about him? I mean, first, last. I have a third round grade on him. But I mean, for Kansas City, I think that they're probably out of that department right now. My top tight end on the board is Isaiah Likely. Right now, left after the guys that have been taken already. I did. I most definitely did. Why is Justin Ross falling? Because he had spinal fusion surgery. Nobody wants to touch that. The guy falling who shouldn't, I personally think it's Perrion Winfrey. That's my answer. Malik Willis is actually a Titan. So he fell because he's not a very complete, polished quarterback, and he doesn't know what he's doing. So I don't think teams were ever high on Malik. I think draft Twitter was high on the fact that he can throw a ball really far and he can run. The draft grade so far, I'm at a B plus. I have a B plus. I think I have A's on both Skye Moore and Trent McDuffie. I have a B minus on Karlaftis, and then I have a C plus ish on Brian Cook or Brian Cook. That's what I thought. Jalen Davis, Armore, he's a corner, correct? Some of these I lose them. Please, if you guys are new to the channel, hit the like, the bell, and the sub notification. Get us out further more of the Chiefs fans that we're trying to get to. Also, if we're trying to ask a question, put the question marks in front of them so that I can pick them out. I don't have a moderator. I don't have another host with me. This is all just me. Zero. Bailey Zappi is almost undraftable. Like, I would not. I don't like his film at all, and I had to watch a lot of it. Can they still turn the draft into an A for you? And what would it take? So they can probably do that with on-field performance. If George Karlaftis comes in and he can produce, like, I'm going to say 8 sacks and be a productive player, it turns into an A for me without a doubt. Who would I have picked over Cook? Or go up the board here. Like, personally, I would have taken a bunch of different guys. I would have taken Travis Jones. I would have taken Chad Muma. Would have taken Martin Emerson. Nah, maybe not. Maybe not Emerson. But not Nick Bonito. Let's see. I would have taken Greg Dolchich over him, I think. But that's just because I like the guy. I would have taken Kobe Dean. DeMarvin Leal. I would have taken him. Probably would have taken Cameron Thomas over him too. There's just some guys. Jets versus Lions. The Jets have had the better draft because they've had more value, and I really love what the Lions did at the top. I really love it. I love it. I also like Josh Pascal, but I think the Jets just edged him a little bit. Was asking if Ingram may still return to the Chiefs. Someone said he already signed somewhere. No, he's a free agent. And I do think there's a really good chance he comes back. What will they give? Will they give Wharton a bigger role this year? He's got to earn it. He didn't earn it last year, so this offseason he's really got to earn it. He has to prove that he can be a shutdown run kind of guy, but also kind of two gap like Derek Nottie does at times, but also be a speed rusher inside because that's where he's going to have to make his money in terms of being a bigger role player. He has to be able to rush the passer. I try not to compare players to Hall of Famers. I'm pretty sure Jared Allen's in if he's not going to get in, especially Chiefs Hall of Famers. I think he's one of the best defensive ends Chiefs ever had. So, yeah, I try not to do that. Thank you for the question, Dylan. How does Chiefs secondary attack stack up against the NFL with new players so far? I like what they've done. I do like Cook as a third safety. I do. I just thought you could have gotten him later and addressed other positions, maybe doubled up at corner, doubled up at edge. So I like what they're doing with their corners and their safeties. Granted, we have a couple of safeties going off the board now. In Nick Cross to the Colts and Kirby Joseph to the Lions. So we're close now. We're getting closer to the Chiefs. We are getting close. So let's go flip back over here. What am I doing? This is okay. Back up over here real quick. So we have Nick Cross now off the board. And we have Kirby Joseph also off the board. Two safeties. Athletic guys. Nick Cross, a lot of athletic ability, really raw, just kind of instinctual player. All right. Thank you for the super chat. The greatest. How many sacks do you think Karlaftis will get? I'm going to put the number at 5. I think 5. What do you think of Leo Chanel, linebacker, or Enigbare edge at 103? I would take Enigbare over Chanel because the Chiefs already have their Mike linebacker and Nick Bolton. Thank you for the super chat, Brian. Appreciate you. New Punk Rants. Do you think Mahomes has an advantage even with the new weapons, considering who he has sat behind? I sense a big year. I think Mahomes is going to have a very big year. I think that defenses, I'm hoping that the Chiefs run the ball effectively enough and defenses say, hey, Tyreek Hill's not here anymore, that they kind of go back to some single high safeties a little bit and let him thrive a little bit more. But they need to run the ball more effectively to be able to loosen up those safeties and really take advantage of him. Who's been the most improved so far in the AFC and who has been the most questionable? I think the Jets through the draft have been the most improved team, and obviously the Raiders moving back, and then I think the Patriots also have to stand to be questioned what they've done in this draft. The Raiders didn't have very much draft capital to begin with, but I would say the Jets have been the most improved, and the Patriots are the biggest head scratchers. What does the starting defensive backfield look like at this moment? Off the top of my head, you've got Karlaftis, Clark, Noddy, Jones, and then I don't think you have a third backer that I can think of. So you have um, Bolton and Gay, and then you have your 3 safeties. So you also have Sneed and Fenton slash McDuffie, and then you have Reed and Thornhill. That's the starting lineup. Whew. Going through that sometimes. I think Cook gets played like Sorensen or Matthew when they played in the box a lot. I think Reed ends up being a free safety and Cook, strong safety. And Cook outplays Thornhill. I don't think Cook can possibly outplay him. They're two very different players. So I think Thornhill is the only guy on the team that can play a true free safety in this defense. And Reed can kind of give you some of that, but he's more of a two deep, maybe a slot type of corner. And Cook is a true strong safety in the box player that can play kind of dime backer as well. So they have three very different players, in my opinion. CHA's Clyde going. I'm hoping he goes off. Dan, I got Pat having more effective 5,040 plus. You under over on those numbers? Probably under on the 5,000, over on the 40. How about that? And the Washington Commanders have picked a running back. Yes, everything that I was hoping for to happen. Brian Robinson of Alabama. This dude is fun to watch. He's huge, like a big 6'2", 220-pound linebacker type of running back, but he's got really nimble feet. He moves much better than you'd give him credit for. Has really good vision too. So I'm a fan of his, and I think that him going into Washington is makes me happy. It makes me happy because that's funny. I just saw the Browns pick there. Jarvis Landry placed him, and the guy who gets comped to Jarvis Landry and David Bell. So that's funny. All right. So Jonathan, who is still available at linebackers coverage linebacker? You have, where are we? Shane Tyndall's a guy you can be a coverage linebacker. Brandon Smith also has that ability, and JoJo Doman are the guys that I'm looking at that right now. Those are the three guys left on the board that I can see being legit, well, not legit, but coverage linebackers. Thank you for the question, Jonathan. Carson Wells from Colorado. You think he could be a good fit at seeing it? I didn't get him. I'm sorry, man. I didn't see his tape this year. Thank you, Superblood. Orlando Brown Jr. is long term now. I think that they are working on a contract for him. Wouldn't surprise me if I think that he kind of has to be, given how they invested in him. So yeah, I think he's going to be their long term left tackle. We are 3 picks away now, guys. The Cardinals are on the clock. The Chiefs actually 4 picks away, not 3. Four picks away. Hey, Summit, I'm trying to talk about Cornell Powell. I talk about him any chance I get. Every chance I get. It's like my thing. Why no one talks about Cornell Powell? Do we have any updates on how he's doing this offseason? I don't have any updates on him. I'm trying. I'm trying to get with agents and talk to these players, but I don't have any pull because I'm a nobody. So I want to get to know him. I want to get to see what he's done, but I do think he has a shot to get on this roster as a 6th guy if he can get on special teams. Come on, Cardinals, Jets, and Dolphins. Just make it quick. Put us out of our misery. We've been waiting since 62. Is Major Sanders a good pick here? I think so. I think it really depends on if he can keep the weight on. Spags likes the bigger defensive ends. He wants a guy 260 and above. He played at a much lower weight, but he put on weight for the combine, so he has to be able to keep that up. We don't know if he can do that. So if he can and keep that speed, keep that first step explosion, use those arms better, I think he's a good pick. I would take him here at 103 very, very easily if he can keep that weight on. And there he goes. We were just talking about him, and he ends up going off the board to the Cardinals. Oh, hate it. Hate it. Thank you for the question, Tristan. If KC defense finished 20-plus ranked defense, do you think Spags is gone, especially with the way they have draft picks? I think so. I would, but I know Andy Reid and him have a close relationship. So I would say yes, but Andy Reid tells me probably not. Chances of Chiefs trading back here, I'll be upset. If the Chiefs make us wait all this time and then trade out of the third round, I'll lose it. I'll lose it. Are you surprised 6 wide receivers went in the first 20 picks? Nah. That's the value, I think, where the value was for the first round, where teams really thought the value was. So it doesn't. It makes sense to me. If Justin Ross never got hurt, he would have gone in the first round. No, he would have gone first round. But considering the fact that he had that spinal fusion surgery, he's going to be a 4th, 5th round pick. I don't know. It's tough, man. I hate that kind of stuff. I'll be surprised. I will be surprised, Justin, but appreciate you being confident. Hey, Dan, so do you think we pick up Cam Thomas or Mafe? No, they're both gone. Who do I think that they take? Right now, I think that Enigbare, Tyndall, possibly Kobe Bryant, Tariq Woolen are options right here. Yeah, we jinxed it, guys. I'm sorry. Now we have another player off the board in Jeremy Ruckert, tight end, Ohio State, a guy I do like who manhandled. If you guys want to see a manhandling of a George Karlaftis, go watch that Ohio State tape. Jake Ruckert was on the other end of some of that too. So no, yeah, yep. Yeah. If they take Kyron Williams is Clyde that can block. That's what he is. But he doesn't have the vision or the foot speed. I'll lose it. This is where I would feel comfortable taking Kobe Bryant. Yes, Jonathan. But I do think that there are more corners that you can get later. Zion McCollum, Mario Goodwich, Josh Williams are all, even Josh Jobe. Josh Jobe reminds me of Charvarius Ward, word for word. So yeah, I think that they're going to wait on corner specifically, but I do think this is a place that I would feel comfortable taking a Kobe Bryant. Has some flashes on his tape, but also some issues with his hips. Pick one. Winfrey, Falal, Jojo Doman. Oh, Winfrey in a landslide. I wanted Majay too. I think Winfrey's an option too if they want to go defensive tackle, depth, and a guy who has some pass rush upside. Definitely makes sense. So, all right, we got one more pick before the Chiefs are on the clock, guys. Here we go. The Chiefs are coming up at 103. The Dolphins at 102. Whew. There is no perfect pick here, Priest. Mahomes. There's no perfect pick. I think Enigbare makes sense. Alexa, skip. I think Tyndall makes sense. I think Winfrey makes sense, Chris. I think those three guys do make sense. If they feel comfortable in a guy like Woolen or Bryant are also names that I think that they're going to go for. I'm telling you, if they could also go, they could double dip at wide receiver. They could easily double dip at wide receiver. Wouldn't put it past them with a Calvin Austin. Somebody that you can also have on returns. Thank you very much, Tristan, for the super chat. Appreciate you being here. Almost 700 in here at 10, nearly 10:30 on a Friday night. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Jonathan. Doing tight ends catch your eye here? Yeah, I got Isaiah Likely. I think Cade Otton also fits. Jake Ferguson is a guy I'm higher on than most, but Isaiah Likely, I think his play speed is much better than his testing. And Cade Otton, I think, is a guy you could a really big guy in terms of in comparison to Travis Kelce or the blocking tight ends. I think he has blocking upside. And there goes Channing Tindall. That's upsetting. That's upsetting. Miami Dolphins selected Channing Tindall. All right, so now the Chiefs are on the clock. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through the Chiefs pick really quick, and then we're going to basically shut down the draft part, and we're going to talk about the Chiefs draft right after they make their selection. We're going to go through grades and review once again for everybody that's going to stay with us. Wonder the running back we get that Veach said was a 1,000-yard runner. I don't know. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them in the draft. So yeah, I think it's gonna. I do think there's some options here with Beavers, with Enigbare, with Winfrey, Woolen, Bryant, and even at wide receiver and tight end. There's a lot of places. When do you think Calvin Austin will go? I think Calvin Austin's going to be a day 3 pick. And he's going to be a guy who gets in special teams immediately. Like that's what they're going to do. He's going to be an immediate punt kick returner type of guy. But yeah, he'll be a day 3 guy. Who do I want to take? In the vacuum, I'd probably take Enigbare. Because there are corners that I can wait on later, but I think that they need a defensive end. But we'll see. I didn't say his name, Chris. I didn't say his name on purpose for you. They've already taken two secondary members too, so you have to kind of think. I don't think they'll go 3 guys. Don't think so. I won't say it. I'd be surprised at linebacker though, because Beavers maybe, but Chanel's there, and I'd be a little surprised at linebacker. So I think they could still double up at wide receiver. They could go tight end. That would be the surprise that I've been talking about on the radio for a little bit. No, Dolphins took Tindall. Interesting. Okay, they must see Chanel as a guy who they can be a coverage linebacker. Interesting. I know he tested well, so realistically, if he can be a coverage linebacker, I'm okay with that pick. It rounds out. Maybe he plays Sam. Maybe he's going to be their Sam backer to start. I don't know. There's multiple things that they can do with Leo Chanel. I'll tell you one thing. Go watch him against Iowa. He absolutely dominated that offensive line. He was unblockable. So, yeah. All right. So that's the last guy we're going to talk about. Now let's go ahead and wrap up. We'll talk about Leo Chanel right now. He is most definitely a guy who is a downhill, thumping, old school type of get in my way and I will ragdoll you type of linebacker. He does that very easily. He's a bigger version of Nick Bolton, what he does right now, but he tested very well. So there's a possible situation here that they think he can be a type of a coverage backer, but like a Sam linebacker early to start with in this 4-3 defense that Spags runs. So I don't hate the pick. Again, you're hoping that Leo Chanel or Nick Bolton turns into a coverage backer, which I can't see yet. I'm hoping Chanel's the only guy that really has that upside to me with his testing, at least. Bolton, not so much. He's going to be your Mike. You already know that. So Leo Chanel's not going to be a Mike. He's going to be a coverage linebacker / Sam. That's what I think he is. So let's talk about Leo Chanel downhill. He's going to help on the run game immediately. Day one starter in terms of Sam linebacker. Boom. Yeah, I know he was pretty decent in coverage. And again, he plays at Wisconsin. But I'm interested. I'm going to have to go back through his tape and really see him in more passing situations because I wasn't incredibly blown away by his ability in getting all over the field. So regardless, now that the Chiefs have drafted their first 5 guys, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about them. First off the board, Trent McDuffie. They traded up to 22 to get Trent McDuffie. Great pick. I think they also think he's their plug and play starting corner. Very happy with it. George Karlaftis, a guy who's going to come in, be a starter again alongside Frank Clark, much in the same mold, not super long, but he's a physical run first guy, high floor type aspect who's going to bring you some juice, not up the edge, but he's going to bring you some juice in the interior pass rush department and getting home to the quarterback, collapse in that pocket. From there, we go to their third pick. Oh, I need to change that to red. Which was Skye Moore. They traded back to draft Skye Moore. Okay. That's what they did. I loved it. That was a great pick for me. A guy who's going to come in and really, I think, can be a contributor early, and he's going to be a starter next year if he's not already this year. So I do like Skye Moore a lot, especially in this offense. Then you have Brian Cook, which was a little bit of a head scratcher for me, but again, he's a player that is going to probably start at some point in this defense. But he's going to be a rotational type of player, a third safety, can play dime backer. He's going to be a coverage safety, not going to be all over the field. Really a thumper downhill, 6 foot, 200 pounds, can come in and really be an impact player. So maybe they're trying to mold Brian Cook as a coverage linebacker type thing with Leo Chanel. I'm interested to see what they do there. And then their very last pick here, Leo Chanel, we just talked about him. So overall, I'm pretty happy with their draft, really going at defense, getting legit thumpers. Like they want guys that can run and that can hit and can tackle. They've got that. And they've got that right now out the door. So thank you very much, Joe, for the super chat. Appreciate you very much. All of you being in here, 680 tonight. We are at 10:30 at night. I'm pretty happy with it. I actually think Leo Chanel improves their pass rush. Okay. He is a very good pass rusher. Very good pass rusher. Very good blitzer. Extremely explosive downhill. So Leo Chanel can absolutely do that. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. Tomorrow is going to be a little different. We're going to probably pop up as the picks happen. They'll happen. We'll come on, talk about them a little bit here and there, and then pop off and come back on as they make more picks. So if they stay there at the 5th, we'll a 4th pick, and then we'll talk about the 5th pick, and then we'll see what they do with the 7th. So tomorrow should be an interesting, fun day. This was a lot of fun. I'm showing 734. Awesome. Great. Thank you all for being in here. Today definitely went much better, in my opinion, than yesterday did. I appreciate you guys bearing with me with my daughter and having to put her down in the middle of the draft today. So you guys are awesome. Tomorrow, like I said, we will continue the coverage every now and then. And I'm happy with the draft so far. I think that they've got some impact players on defense, and they did improve their pass rush with Leo Chanel. So yeah, thank you guys for being here tonight. I will see you all tomorrow. Try and get some sleep because I don't know if I will. So get something for me, will y'all? Have a good night.